Uh, there's an option to start a non-profit company, and I have filed all the paperwork to do that, and perhaps others might be interested in doing the same. I guess the idea behind it is to take care of your uh, room first, take care of your house second, your back garden, and then perhaps make a difference to wider people, like to go out in the street. I guess that's that's the idea behind it. Yeah, so we help others make a difference. I guess instead of just watching, perhaps uh, doing it and making a difference, see what that would feel, look like, and how hard or how simple that is. Or overall, that's the idea behind it. I guess it's new week and see what we have to accomplish this week. And yeah, it's been a long week again. I did manage to do a lot of things. Yeah, I have published a book. Uh, Managed to contact a lot of people. At least I reach out to them. Okay. Uh, we are on week 102. Uh, Good. Actually, I have a meeting starting in about 10 minutes or so, and it's an intellectual property meeting. There's gonna be another four meetings today. I'm gonna be focusing a lot on AI and AI implementations for business activities. And tomorrow there's gonna be some investing, grant proposal writing classes, as well as mentoring and rising capital. I'll most likely for the rest of the week I'm going to be focusing on other things, on marketing and sales, and perhaps hiring people. Today I would like to talk to you about a couple important things. I'll mention those in in just a bit. Uh, Today I want to talk about a great opportunity that everyone perhaps should at least know about. Perhaps do not, perhaps do not enter a competition themselves. So there's a competition to start or to receive funding for your non-profit organization that can potentially make a large impact to local communities. In this particular case, I'm going to discuss the fund that's available for companies who are based in Bristol. But I think it's not limited with just Bristol. There's a lot of funds available for different companies across UK. But this particular case, I'm going to discuss one that's available for companies, in particular in Bristol. The way how I approached this was, I think one of the requirements is to have a company. I currently do not see myself perhaps investing my time and resources, energy in starting a company first and later hoping that I'll receive funding. At least that's not my current approach. Perhaps in the future I'll think differently about this kind of things, but right now so I'm just thinking, ask them if I'll at least they can give me a green light. If so, within the agreed time limit, I could open a company and get all the paperwork sorted, and then receive funding if they're happy for me to progress with my initial application and everything, I guess. So at least that was my approach to this particular fund. I don't know other cities have different thoughts, ideas, beliefs on these kind of things. But Bristol have agreed for me to go forward with the application at least in this particular way. Perhaps something to think of. It's a new thing for me, nonprofits and the way how companies should be structured. For profit companies and non-profits, they structure slightly different. Perhaps profit companies can be structured very similar to that, but for non-profits, there need to be more than one person making decisions, which is kind of interesting, I guess. So well, not necessarily one person is in charge for non-profits, which is kind of interesting idea, I guess. So it needs to have a board and most likely a separate person who would manage all the funds, and for decision making there would be perhaps more than one person, at least the way how I was look at how to manage this project. And yeah, so it can take perhaps a couple hours just to wrap your head around some of these concepts and how to structure a company when it comes to non-profits. Uh, just looking at this current fund, it's called Bristol Impact Fund, and it has started at 2017 in Bristol City, and this brought together 8 of the council grant funds to create a new program called Bristol Impact Fund. It's been running for some time now, since 2017, so for 6 years now, roughly about 6 years, I guess, perhaps slightly longer than that. And they have set some goals to accomplish over the years by managing this fund, and I can only imagine how many good causes we already supported and allocated the funds to. Good, good. I believe there's perhaps this kind of causes should have more attention brought to them than some of the activities that they actually do accomplish, and perhaps how those activities been run. It's something that I'm personally more interested in currently. Perhaps in the future, I would focus on how much impact they managed to accomplish and all the other things. But currently, I'm more interested about how to perhaps start a similar company and how to run the company. At least that's my current perceived way of looking at these kind of things. Uh, but perhaps worth mentioning is uh, it's just something that perhaps that I pay attention to. It just has something to do with the Bristol. We had the video conference call to discuss how to progress with overall application process, and there was a lovely lady who I had the pleasure of talking to, and I have noticed I pretty much knew everything, so it was that much of anything new to myself. But as we were talking, there was another perhaps 10 or 15 people. It was more towards, I guess, the introduction of with the overall process to those people. So the only thing that I can think of, cut to the chase, one thing that I can think of, her bookshelf had all the books lined up in terms of colors, which was a very hard thing to do. So I'm just trying to imagine how many books she had to had in order to line up all the books in a way there would be a perfect palette of colors. So it was about 30 books. And all of those books had perfect shade of colors going from one color to the next one. That's the only thing that I can think of, to be honest. I knew all the process, I knew everything. I just had to get the green light for me to progress with the application process in terms of me starting application without having company and receiving funding for organization first. So I knew everything already. So it's only one thing I had to ask, and for the rest, I just thought I didn't want to distract her. She definitely knew what she was talking about. From this, what she was trying to explain. Other than that, I guess I can mention one more thing. I guess in terms of receiving money. I guess the way how I personally approach that. What would you like to receive money for? Since it would be for services or for assets or tangible products. And most likely they would not necessarily give you finance for tangible, so not necessarily something that you would be able to make a profit from, or perhaps if I had to define even that, it would be receiving money for services, something well like painting of park benches. So that would be like a services, I guess, instead of purchasing a car, an asset or depreciating asset. So I don't know if that's the best example or the way how I would describe it. But most likely these kind of funds would be taking a look at what would you like to receive a funding for, and most likely, not necessary, but most likely they will give you funding for services to purchase some kind of services instead of purchasing assets. Yeah, so the overall overview, I guess, of the way or things that you should think of. If I've missed anything, I'll share links in the description about overall fund and opportunities available up there for anyone who is interested. If I have to share anything else that you might find useful is in particular Bristol Impact Fund would most likely would like to offer funding for some organization that are more leaning towards overall Bristol as a city goals, long-term goals for next 5 or so years. So if when you're writing a project for what you're looking to receive funding for, it would most likely need to align to what Bristol overall as a city would like to achieve within next five years or so. So that's a separate thing. At least that's how I would do it. But I guess it's for the it's one ways to approach it, as well as I don't think currently within Bristol they do not have disabled-led organizations, so they are looking to support anyone who is interested in starting one, if not perhaps who already has one and looking to receive funding for disabled-led organization. Other than that, yeah, so there's always options to have meetings with the Bristol City Mayor. Is one by the end of this month, and have discussion with him about what kind of support people who are volunteering or organization leaders who would be looking to gain. I guess I'll know more by end of this month. But other than that, yeah, so it's one of the ways to approach it for overall long-term goals for a city, and then organizations and how to approach managing those organizations as well within the city. So a couple insights, I guess, how I'm approaching this week. For anyone who is interested, I have published a book called Game Strategy. You can find a link in the description where to find it online. Reach out to me if you like to receive a signed copy of it. If you like digital copy, you can buy it on my company's website. If you prefer to ordering from places like Amazon, you can do that as well. Thanks everyone for watching, and see you in the next one.